And we are back with a video I've very much been looking forward to. This is the tactics for FIFA 21 that I'm going to be using. Now, the start formation for this doesn't really matter. It's just the template that we're going to use to fit the players in. What we're going to be looking to use this season is a bit out there, is a 3-4-1-2. Now, the reason why I've chosen 3-4-1-2, it is a wide formation. Crosses are going to be very important. And also, we know that at the start of this game, people are going to go back to their old favourite, the 4-2-3-1. They're going to want to sit in deep. They want to sit tight. They're not going to be confident on the new game, and we're going to punish them for that. I've been using this formation for the entire back end of FIFA 20 and had a lot of fun with it. It requires vast number of tactics, different style of play than to what most people will be used to. But trust me when I tell you, this is something that works. Starting with the tactics themselves, we're going to have pressure on heavy touch. People, as we said, they're going to be deep. We're going to be pushing them hard, not letting them out. Depth 7, I know that's scary, but depth 7, width nice and, well, not reasonably wide, but decent enough. And we're going to keep them, try and get them before they can escape. When we get the ball, nice high width, using the left mid and the right mid, players in the box, always want 3 in the box. So it looks like crossing is going to be very good this year. At the moment, I've set corners to 3 because we don't really know how effective heading is going to be just yet. I've actually been running 1 for FIFA 20, but it is what it is. And free kicks just 3. It's still hard to score from free kicks, but who knows, maybe it'll be easier this year. Moving into the instructions themselves, what you want to do, we'll start with the goalkeeper. You want your keeper coming for crosses. If heading is going to be a threat, you want to be stopping them in any way possible. Keeper's coming out. And we want him on sweeper keeper. We only have 3 at the back. Some balls may get in behind our outside centre-backs. And if the keeper can come and deal with them, that's fantastic. Centre-backs, pretty straightforward. All stay back while attacking. No point in changing that. If it's late in the game and we're losing, we would have changed to our ultra-attacking formation anyway. So we don't need to worry about that. Wingers, only instruction, stay wide. Like I said, we want to keep these formations pushed back. We want to keep them pushed wide. And also one of the most overpowered strategies in FIFA 20 was the overload ball side. We know, once again, at the start of this new game, the sweaters are going to be using the tactics that they trust. And if we can have our wingers both set to stay wide, the lateral switches are always going to be on. There's going to be passes that we'll be able to make from our centre-backs out to our wingers. And if we just keep them out there, we can constantly keep the opposition moving around from side to side. With that said, in the middle, we make sure that we have our centre mids covering the centre, not the wide areas. Set them to free roam, keep them moving. Don't worry about the attack and the crossing runs. Just leave it as it is. All fine there. The cam, we want to stay forward. We want him to free roam. Just keep everything moving, linking up the play from the wide players, the centre mids and the strikers. As for the strikers themselves, we want them staying forward. We want them staying central again, because once we get the ball out to the wide players, we want to be playing balls into the box as early as possible to get them on the end of it. Now, from here, you want to leave that as your defensive formation, because if we're winning a game and it's a tight game, it's a very simple switch into the 5-2-1-2. Very, very similar shape, as you can see here. All that we've done is we've just moved our left mid and our right mid to left wing back and right wing back, keeping it tighter. That same goes for the strategy. We still want to drop back. We want to keep everyone moving, much tighter shape. Still a reasonably high depth with 5 at the back. If you start dropping back into depth 2 or 1, you're leaving yourself no one forward, really. We just want to keep it still reasonably high, but dropping back, keeping tight. Offensively, again, very similar. We just want the corners and the free kicks because we're not going to have anyone forward. Instruction-wise, again, keep these people the same. Have the cam kept dropping back. Have these set to stay back and overlap. Nice and tight, keeping it steady. The only reason why we have an attacking formation that's slightly different is because this formation will not work for everything. So with that said, the real counters to this are the 4-2-4 and the 4-2-2. The reason that is because we only have 3 at the back. If they've got 4 in attack, we need a bit more defensive support. We changed to 4-1-2-1-2-2. Reason being, simple as one of your centre backs can move up into the CDM spot. Your right mid and left mid drop back to full back, and you just keep things nice and steady. This will put real pressure on the central play They're playing 4-2-4, 4-4-2-2. They're not going to have enough bodies in the middle. So we're going to exploit that with the 4 players tight in the centre. The only real difference we want here is we want our fullbacks to stay back and overlap. The reason why we're doing this is because there is an in-game instruction to set your fullbacks to attack. If they start feeling the pressure, we can start moving them forward. And when they do, our CDM, who is normally going to be a centre-back anyway, he's got dropped between defenders, so we can still slot into that back 3 shape with the wide players going forward. Essentially, this is like your go-between between the 3-4-1-2 and the 5-2-1-2. The reason why I have it set up like this, though, is like I said, if we are winning a game that's tight and we want to drop it back, it's a natural switch from 3-4-1-2 to 5-2-1-2. It's a bit more awkward going between the 3-4-1-2 and the 4-1-2-1-2, which is why we do that as the defensive and that as the attacking, even though realistically, mentally, they're the other way around. Ultra attacking is up to you. Everyone has their own way of ultra attacking. I've just set mine like this. Everyone piles forward, constant pressure, force them all back. If we're going to lose, we're going to lose. So let's just chuck everything at them. Other than that, that's it. All we need to do now is move towards the FUT21 database so we can start picking our team. So here we are on the FUTBin FUT21 squad builder screen. I'm going to be making a Premier League team because I know you all love your Premier League teams. That we're in for a starter team to use in this system. I'm going to walk you through how each position should be played, what stats you want to be looking for, skill moves, weak foots, and also what the most likely chemistry style is going to be for each position. So I'm going to start with the goalkeeper spot. What you're looking for in a goalkeeper is ideally reflexes. If you go through the game and players get better at finishing, or opponents have players with better finishing, height is going to start to become an issue. But at the start of the game, when people are only going to be looking at around 85 to 95 finishing, height isn't massive. But the only real thing you want to be looking at for now is reflexes. Those quick, sharp saves where people try and sweat the ball across. Keepers need high reflexes. So I've set up the Premier League here, and what we are going to do is we're going to go position goalkeeper, and we are going to sort by the reflexes stat. So here we are. Now, obviously, we're looking for starter teams, so the likes of Lloris, Alisson, De Gea, maybe Schmeichel are out. We want to be looking a little bit further down, trying to find those little gems that other people aren't going to be thinking of. And immediately, I'm looking here at Martin Dubravka. 86 reflexes, 6'3", 82 positioning. This looks like a very good card, actually. Might go under the radar, as most people will look for the Nick Popes, your Dean Hendersons, Kepa, all the usual names that you see at the start of FIFA. So to be different, I'm going to stick in goal Martin Dubravka. Moving on to the central centre-back position, a really, really important position in this system. The man that is going to have to deal with your opponent's striker. What I'm looking for this position is I'm looking for height, I'm looking for physicality, and I'm looking for high defending. Most likely chemistry style for this position, unfortunately, is the shadow chemistry style. In order to get players with high defending and physical, sometimes you have to sacrifice for pace. But if it's not going to be a shadow and you're able to find a quick centre-back that also has good defending and physical, anchor, and then eventually sentinel are your go-tos here. So let's have a look at the Premier League again. And we'll go for stats. 55 pace, because Shadow will knock that up to 70, and that's, in my opinion, all you really need to deal with strikers at the start of this game. Defending, like I've already said, needs to be high. I'm going to go for 80 there. And strength, I'm also going to go for 80 there. So let's have a look what we've got. Van Dijk, obviously, is the absolute dream player for central centre-back, 6'4", pace, everything you could want for this position. You'll also see already that Fabinho, Rodri, players that you wouldn't associate with the centre-back spot are going to come up. And this is a real key feature of the squad. Players are not necessarily going to be playing in the natural position. If anything, I would discourage playing people in the natural position. It would allow you to get more variety of players in the team and potentially get some cheaper deals later in the squad. However, the only CDMs I'm really seeing here are Souček, Rodri, and Fabinho. Souček isn't bad with 6'4", 80 defending, but the 83 strength is a bit of a concern. I really like the look of Zuma. I'd probably say Zuma over Bolly for the extra bit of pace. Rudiger would also be a very good shout, but again, only 82 strength, and there is a chance he might be leaving Chelsea in this window, so we're not going to go for him. I'm going to go for Kurt Zuma. Moving on, outside centre backs. What you want to look for in this position is you want a right footer on the right hand side, a left footer on the left hand side, or if you cannot manage that, an ideal 4-star weak foot for someone playing on the opposite side. The chemistry styles you're looking for here are going to be anchor or backbone. The reason for that is we want people with high pace out here, but we also want them to have decent passing. So I've spoken to you earlier about they're going to be hitting passes from this position to the left side and from the left centre back to the right side, moving the opposition around, keeping the play moving. So let's have a look at who we can get here. We'll go for 70 pace for now, because again, it's only the start of the game. We're not going to have the best availability of players so far. We'll go 75 on defending, we'll go 75 on physical, and we'll go 65 on passing. And what I'm going to do is I am going to search by passing and see who we can find that can go into this position. Now, height, again, may be a slight issue here. I'm never going to play the likes of Wijnaldum at centre-back. We're going to want them in midfield. Sissoko isn't a bad option, but I fear he may end up in midfield as well. Fullbacks can go here. Centre-backs can go here. CDMs can go here. CMs can go here. Versatility is everything when you're building a squad like this. However, since we already have one centre-back in the team, we know that one of these two positions has to be filled by another centre-back. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change it to just centre-backs, and then we'll go back to find our other one. And immediately, top of the list is Victor Lindelof, who at 6'2", reasonable pace, reasonable defending, reasonable passing, and reasonable physical, and 72 passing, straight away gets in here for me. The other one that I caught my eye was Nathan Ake. It's very similar stats. My only concern with Ake is he's going to get a one to watch. So that's going to push his price up. And with him being a new signing for Man City, people are going to be looking at him. He's a player that's been used an awful lot in the past. So we'll see if we can find someone that isn't a centre-back that can go in that position. But if not, it might be that Nathan Ake goes in there. Let's just get the right backs and left backs up. Aurier we know is going to Russia. Doherty's not bad, although that defending and physical concerns me. Let's just quickly check the left backs. Luke Shaw could be a good option. Benjamin Mendy could be a good option. In fact, I think no, I was tempted by Luke Shaw for a moment, but I am going to go on this side for Nathan Ake. So what this means already is we have locked ourselves into a 3 at the back formation or a 5 at the back formation for our start squad, but we now know Luke Shaw is an option if we wanted to change to a 4 at the back for further down the line. So we'll now move on to our right mids and left mids. The importance for these positions is they need to be quick, they need to have good crossing, and need to have high stamina. The most likely chemistry styles for this position are going to be engine and catalyst, because they're the ones that boost crossing and pace. Also shadow, if you're able to find a forward line player, maybe like a right wing or a left wing, sometimes a really fast CM that can go out wide into these areas. But you have to be careful when you're doing that, because if you leave yourself too exposed down that side, sometimes these players are going to have to play fullback. It can get a bit risky. So let's just go through that and we'll find ourselves who can play there. So we're going to go for, I'm only going to go 75 pace because again, shadow could be used, catalyst could be used. The crossing is the important one. We're going to set that at 75, knowing that catalyst again boosts crossing by 15. The stamina we're going to set to 80. Ideally, we want 85, but we'll leave it for 80 for now because it's only the start of the game. We can't guarantee that we're going to get people like that. Let's just order it by stamina and see who comes up. Now, Andrew Robertson would be fantastic for this position, basically how he plays for Liverpool, and there you see Trent as well, essentially playing as right mids and left mids when from the left back, right back position. They would be very good, but early on in the game, they are probably going to be a bit too expensive. Ben Chilwell's not bad, but his pace concerns me. Ricardo's going to be too expensive. Luca Digne would be fantastic, especially with that giant throw-in as well coming from the outside areas. But at 84, you're not really going to get a good price for him. And I do like the look of Kieran Tierney here. That's your lot. So it looks like we are going to be using left backs and right backs for these positions in the Premier League. I'm going to put Kieran Tierney in right now. He looks like someone who's going to be very good early on in the game. Can easily slot into as a normal left back and looks half decent going down this left hand side. Sorry. Right hand side is going to be a little bit trickier, I fear, because we're now locked into right back. So let's just change the position up to right back and see who we can come up with. So it's only the good ones. Cancelo, Walker, Trent, and Ricardo Pereira. We know Nelson Semedo is about to join the Premier League as well, so he would be an option. Looking at the ones we've got there, and given the rating, I am going to go for João Cancelo. I know that's going to be an expensive one, but right now, that is the best option that we have. Moving on to the two centre mids. Much like the two players on outside them, the centre mids are going to be looking for high stamina, reasonable pace, and in all honesty, good all-round stats. So what we're going to be looking for from these guys is we want to be searching by total in-game stats. So what we're going to be looking at for now, total in-game stats. Again, we're not going to be using De Bruyne, Bruno, unless we get very lucky in our starter packs. Dele Alli looks pretty good. Fred looks very good. Milner's not really fast enough. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little condition on stamina just to see what we can get. We'll go for 80 stamina and see who we come up with. Okay. Again, I like the look of Fred. I fear he's going to be expensive, being both Brazilian and Man United, but we could go for him if needs be. Sissoko, I mentioned earlier, would be very good. It is one that's a bit under the radar. 71 pace, all stats over 70. 5'7" isn't bad. 86 stamina. 2-star weak foot's a bit of a concern. Let's just double check what his footedness is. He's left-footed, John Fleck. So I think what we'll do, as we're looking to keep this squad as cheap as possible, we've already put Cancelo. We'll put Fleck on the left-hand side. He looks like he could be very good. Strong link to Tierney as well. As for the right-hand side, Marcos Alonso. Still several options here. Dendoncker, Rodri, Ziyech. Tomine looks a bit slow. But also good. 79 rated, high, 3-star, 3-star, 6'4", only 84 stamina. Let's switch it to stamina now, as we already know we have good in games. Souček again. Might see a lot of Thomas Souček, at the start of this game. Shooting, passing, and dribbling is a bit of a concern for me there, though. Sissoko. I'd say it's between Sissoko and Dele Alli for this position right now. I am going to go for Dele Alli, purely because we already have... Yeah, we're going to go for Dele Alli. We've already got a defensive outlook with the fullbacks, the wing-backs, as it were. Normally, I would try and get one offensive and one defensive. So we're going to try and make this midfield pair a little bit more attack-minded. So we're going to go for Dele Alli and John Fleck. Moving up to Cam. Sorry, before we move up to Cam, if I haven't mentioned already, the chemistry styles you're looking for in this position are going to be Engine and Shadow. Not really going to see anything else in these two positions. We want these players agile, mobile, and nothing more. So someone like Dele Alli, I'd probably give a Shadow to. Someone like John Fleck, I'd probably give an Engine to. Now we'll move up to Cam. Cam, in my opinion, is the most important position in this team. I spoke about earlier how they need to be linking up everything. These two are going to be feeding into him. These two are going to be feeding into him. And he's then going to be feeding up to these two strikers. So what you're looking for in a Cam is high passing, high shooting, high dribbling. 4-star skill is a must, in my opinion. This is the guy that's going to be on the turn, on the move, creating the space, cutting open the opposition's defence. So let's see what we can come up with for Cam. So stats, we're going to go 75 dribbling, 75 passing, 75 shooting. I'll leave the stamina for now because subs, as I've already said, will become an important part this year. So I'll leave stamina for now. Let's see what we've got. Let's sort by passing. I remember already, we've already got a situation now where we've got 3 at the back. We're going to be starting in a 5 at the back formation. This is where the decision now has to be made whether or not the cam and the 2 strikers are going to come from a cam and 2 strikers, or a right mid, left mid, and a striker. My advice for saving coins would be to get a right mid or left mid that goes in at the cam spot. I'm already thinking of like Willian, someone like that. It's going to be pretty cheap in my opinion. He'll drop in there, and then you can find yourself a nice left winger who can go up front with another striker. So let's see what we can find down here. Bernardo Silva would be another one, very good for this position, but again, 87 is a bit of a worry. James Maddison is probably the way to go if you're looking at going for 2 out-and-out strikers. I can still see him being expensive though, the hype around him, young English player. James Rodriguez, 2-star can't be right, and the pace is a bit of a concern. Ridiculously good on the 3 things we were looking for though. Let's keep going down, see if anyone pops up. So here we go. Players like Shaqiri, Lamela, Willian, as I've already spoken about. Only 3-star skill on Willian. It's a bit of a worry. Let's go for Shaqiri. 4-star. I'm assuming that will be 5-star, but we can't take that risk on Willian right now. So we're going to put Xherdan Shaqiri as our cam, knowing that in the back of our heads, we've still got Maddison as the central option for this position. And let's now move on to our strikers. Now for the strikers, what you want is reasonable pace, high finishing. That's about it. Heading will become a part of this game, I do believe. So if we can find someone with a bit of heading as well, that'd be great. But right now, it's the start of the game. The important thing is goals. We want to be scoring goals. We need people with good finishing. So positioning is not important just yet. We'll put pace at 75 again, and I'm going to put finishing at 75. The reason I'm putting finishing at 75 is because if we can find, we know we're looking for a left winger, so we can find a left winger that's got 90 odd pace, but not the best finishing. We can stick a sniper or a dead eye on him and up that finishing into the 90s. So let's see who we find. And we are going to actually sort by finishing. Let's start off with the left wings. Mane's too much, Son's going to be too much. Bergwijn could be pretty good. 77 finishing isn't bad, but we know he's going to have that 2-star weak foot, which is a real worry for me. Zaha looks very good. Jota, unfortunately, even with the 5-star weak foot, 83 pace and 77 finishing isn't quite good enough. Feu isn't going to be in the Premier League anymore. Trossard, again, only 82 pace. Standout player for me here, Wilfried Zaha. So let's put him in up there. And now, let's get ourselves a striker. Now, obviously, again, this top row right here, this ain't going to happen early on. Danny Ings isn't bad. 76 pace, 4-star, if that's true, is a very good combination with 85 finishing. You could give him a Hunter card, maybe even a Hawk, get that finishing up to 90, get the pace to a reasonable level. Jimenez, again, we're not sure on these skill moves just yet, but 2-star would be a big put off for me. Lacazette's not bad. Richarlison is a very good option. 5-star weak foot. He's already got 82 finishing, so if you gave him a Hawk, gave him a Hunter, that's going to go up to 87 with the 5-star weak foot. The moment is between Ings and Richarlison. I would say if you're playing 2 up top, like we said, if we're going to have Maddison here, my 2 up top would be Richarlison and Ings together, I think, because there's not really anyone else with good enough pace. Martial would be a dream, but that's not going to happen. I'm going to go, for the sake of this already having Zaha and Cancelo in the team, I'm for now going to go for Danny Ings, but I would definitely be looking for Richarlison. But I just feel for now, if we're going to keep this squad reasonably cheap, Ake is going to be expensive, Cancelo is definitely going to be expensive, Zaha is definitely going to be expensive. So we're going to keep the striker just a little bit cheaper for now. And that would be my suggestion, how to build out this team in the Premier League setup. Cancelo and Tierney can perfectly drop back into the 5-back system. I would probably put Lindelof, maybe Ake. I'd say probably Lindelof for the extra dribbling and passing. If the 4-1-2-1-2 is needed, he'd be the good CDM for that spot. Fleck on the left, Dali on the right. perfectly set up like that. Before I go, the last thing I need to mention is substitutes. Substitutes are going to play a massive part in this game this year. Fitness is no longer going to be an issue, so that you're not going to have the whole squad rotation thing. And that what that means is you're actually going to be able to have 7 substitutes on the bench that you can use every single game. So what I've already done is I've compiled 7 substitutes below this squad, 1 for each area of the pitch. So if we scroll down here, I've got Jerome Boateng as my central centre-back option. The only real time he's going to be necessary is if you get your central centre-back sent off. It can happen, especially when you've got one of the slow ones. If their striker has to be cut down, their striker has to be cut down. In that situation, you're then going to be taking your Cam off and you're going to be putting your Jerome Boateng on in there to fill the hole that's been left by Zuma. Borrell looks like a very, very good card. And from a completely out there league, he's going to be discard value. This is a perfect card for outside centre back. He's left footed, so he's probably going to be coming on the left hand side. Good dribbling, good defending, great physical, good passing, good pace. And I believe he's also 4-star, 4-star. So this is perfect for going left centre back or right centre back, again, if one of these guys gets sent off early on. Moving out to the outside positions, you're going to have 2 options. You need a defensive option and you need an offensive option. This obviously depends on who you're starting with. So if I'm using this team and it's not going well, I'm going to be looking at putting Visca on because I've already got 2 defensive right mid and left mids already out there. But if I'm, say, running a team with Adama Traore out on the right-hand side and Tierney on the left and it's not going well, or we're winning and we're looking to close out a game, Adama's going to be coming off in this position and I'm going to be sticking on Kappa. Good pace, good dribbling, great crossing, and 88 physical, which is fantastic on a player. He could even play in the outside centre-back role. It's really up to you how and when you bring this guy on, but really, really good option as a defensive right mid, left mid, late game if you need to make a substitution. Opted for Gozens in the central centre mid position. Speaks for himself, really. Really just fantastic all-round stats. He's going to be a guy you want to look to when the likes of Fleck or Ali are getting tired, because even with high stamina, these players are still going to tire. And so having someone like Gozens on the bench as a centre mid option is going to really help secure up the win for you. I put Pizzi on the bench as well. He's here to be the cam option. The only reason I've got Pizzi on there at the moment is because Buckbin currently has him listed as 4-star skill again. He's been 3-star the last 2 years. He is 3-star skill. He'll be replaced by someone else. But again, as I've spoke about before, passing, shooting, and dribbling is the key stats for this position. He would be a fantastic option to bring on at cam. And finally, Josef Martinez, the go-to MLS striker. He's going to be cheap. Maybe not as cheap as you'd like, but he is going to be the go-to substitute this year. I have no doubt about that. Pace, finishing, dribbling, everything. And that's about it, really. Nothing more to say from me. If you have any other suggestions, oh, actually, one more thing before I go. I've already pre-built my other leagues. So here you've got the Bundesliga team. That would line up in a 5-2-2-1 like the Premiership team would. I have the League Earn team. Got Florenzi in there because he has transferred for PSG. That would line up in a 5-2-1-2. La Liga would start 4-4-2. Kappa there as the centre back, even though I've just said I'd use him as a right mid. This Yuri card looks like a monster as well. But again, trying to keep it nice and simple. 4-4-2, switching to this system. And finally, the Serie A, which would start 3-4-2-1. With 3 centre backs like that. And that is it. If you see, I would implore you to give this a go. It certainly is fun. It will stop you feeling that depression of constantly being defensive. Go enjoy it. Come up with your own style of play if you want. But again, as I said before, trust in this system. It's a really fun system. It's going to work. I have full faith that going into this game, it will work. It's going to be slightly hard to get full use out of it before the special cards start coming in. But once we start seeing all the promo cards and the promo packs coming out, we're going to be filling these teams with fantastic players that are going to completely change the game, in my opinion. So let me know if you can come up with anything different, and I will speak to you in the next video.